Let's see what we got here now.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Everybody all right?
Baruch Hashem.
Good, good. Okay,
Baruch Hashem.
very good. Okay. We're on Kaf Yud Aleph 111. Gradually making our way as we continue with medicinal issues in this parak, right? Our new Mishnah is where we're starting, about 1/3 down the Amud, right? Hachoshesh b'shinav, if you're concerned about your teeth, in other words, if you feel any kind of pain or suffering in your teeth, lo yigma behen et chometz, one cannot sip or swallow vinegar, aval metabel hu kedarko, but he's permitted to dip, in other words, let's say his bread in vinegar and then eat it in the usual manner, okay? Now, v'im nitrapeh, and if he's cured, nitrapeh, he's cured, okay? And no issue again in terms of Shabbat. Next, hachoshesh b'matnav, one who's concerned, who feels pain in his loins, the other body parts. Lo yasuch yayin v'chometz, he cannot smear wine or vinegar on those body parts. Aval sachu et hameshemen, but he is permitted to put oil on his body parts, okay? Because oil was done not simply for the purpose of healing, but smooth the skin, beautification. It was common to be done after they went to the merchatz, things like that, okay? All right, going on then. Velo shemen varad, okay, and not rose oil, right? Why? We're going to see. B'nei melachim sachin shemen vered al makotehen, because the sons of kings, in other words, princes, used to put oil, okay, rose oil on their wounds, okay, as a common practice, all right? Shekain darkan lasuch b'chol, because this was their common practice on weekdays. So since they did it on weekdays, they could do it on Shabbat as well. But the average person would not, supposedly, according to Tana Kama, not be able to do so. Rabbi Shimon Omer, Kol Yisrael b'nei melachim hein. Says Rabbi Shimon, disagrees with Tana Kama. All Jews are like sons of kings, are royal children. Therefore, his view is that they should be permitted on Shabbat to do so. Gemara says now a text. Rami le Rab Acha Aricha, Dehu Rab Acha Bar Papa. Okay, there was a question, a challenge raised by Rabbi Acha the Long or the Tall. Okay, that was his nickname, whose real name was Rav Acha Bar Papa. Okay, and he pointed out the Rabbi Abahu, the following Mishnah. Tznan, elsewhere it teaches, Hachoshesh b'shinav lo yigma bahen et chometz. One who is concerned about pain in his teeth should not sip vinegar through them, right? Right. Now, Lamemra.
Because it's Shabbos?
Even on Shabbos, right. Lamemra de chometz ma'alei l'shinayim. This seems to tell us that therefore vinegar is good for the teeth, okay? In other words, it has medicinal value, okay? Now, v'haktiv, but isn't it written elsewhere in a pasuk in Mishlei? Kechometz l'shinayim, u'ke'ashan la'einayim. Okay, vinegar to the teeth is like smoke to the eyes, which would seem to be a verse saying that not beneficial. Okay, Lo kasha, we don't have a difficulty here. Ha v'kiv ha depari. Okay, in the one hand, we see that it refers to fruit vinegar that has a more acrid juice, right? Ha bechala, the other is in wine vinegar. V'ibayatema, and if you want, I would say as follows: Havaha bechala. Both issues are in regards to wine vinegar. Ha de'ika maka, ha deleka maka. In one case, it's where he does have a sort of a wound, a pain, a clear, and therefore he's doing it for medicinal purposes, which is forbidden on Shabbat. On the other, if there is no wound, okay. Why? Because it simply loosens the teeth and the gums. Ika masa, mase. Okay. If he has a wound, it cures it. Leka maka marfe. If he doesn't have a wound, we say it weakens or loosens the teeth and the gums. Okay. Now, new piece from our Mishnah. Lo yigma behenet chometz, that he shouldn't sip the vinegar through them. Vahatanya, but isn't it taught elsewhere in a Braita? Lo yigma upolate, that he shouldn't sip it and then spit it out. Aval megama ubolea, but if he sips it and spits it out, Amar Abai, he says Abai, kitnan nami matniten, says Abai, here our Mishnah also is teaching the same in regards to sipping and spitting it out. It's non-Rabbah. Okay? But Rabbah is going to say as follows. Afilu tema megama ubolea. Even if you want to say that we're talking about sipping this vinegar, right? And he's saying that in this case, one is swallowing it. Kan lifnei tibul, kan la'achar tibul. Okay? All right. One is talking about a situation where one does so before dipping it in the vinegar. In other words, the bread in the vinegar and then putting it in his mouth. The other is talking about after dipping it. V'nema midilifnei tibul shari. Okay, if we're going to say, therefore, that it's permissible to do so before one dips it, lachar tibul nami shari. After dipping, it also should be permitted. Tishma'inim le Rava, okay, as Rava seems to accept this lesson, this argument, this line of thinking, right? De'it le ho'il, because Rava holds to the principle, okay, of ho'il. And we're going to see that defined in just a moment. Okay? All right, so that is this issue. Namely, the Amar Rava, says Rava, Leka midei de b'Shabbat shari uviyom haKippurim asur. Okay? That Rava says to us, there's nothing which is permitted on Shabbos and forbidden on the Day of Atonement. Okay? On Yom Kippur. Right? Ho'il, since, here's the key term and the idea, the b'Shabbat shari, b'Yom HaKippurim nami shari, since it's permitted on Shabbat, doesn't it seem to be viable that it should be permitted on Yom Kippur as well? What happened? Hadar be Rava mehach. Rava, however, recants from this particular concept and this particular approach. Okay? And so the Gemara asks, Mimai, on what basis? Okay, do you say that he recanted? Demehach hadarbe, that you say that he recanted on this phrase and this idea? Dilma mehahi hadarbe. Maybe he simply recanted from this particular lesson, from this particular idea. Not the concept, but just this issue. Okay, lo salkadata. Don't even think about it, says the Gemara. Tanya kol chayve tvilot tovlin kedarka. Why? Because we say whenever somebody is obliged, is obligated to perform tevila, he may do so in the normal manner. Okay. Again, bein b'tisha b'av, bein b'yom ha'kippurim, regards to whether it's the 9th of Av or in regards to Yom Kippur. Okay. Now, that stops that piece, and we get back to a new section from our Mishnah. Achoshesh b'matnav, right, and etc. One who is concerned about pain in his loins and his joints, for example. Amar Rabbi Abba bar Zavta. This is Rabbi Abba bar Zavta. Amar Rav, in the name of Rav. Halacha ka Rabbi Shimon. The law is like Rabbi Shimon. In other words, against Tanakama, who said that they could put rose oil even on Shabbat. Lamemra, does this come to tell us? The Rav ka Rabbi Shimon Svirale, that since Rav, who's the edit, right, Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, that he hold the view of Rabbi Shimon in this case, okay, which seems to be the more lenient view, of course, vis-a-vis Shabbat. V'ha'amar Rav Shimi bar Chia, mishmei de Rav, but did not Rav Shimi bar Chia say in the name of Rav, Hai misuchraya denazayata. Okay, take the example of this case where we have a cloth stopper that's put into the spout of a barrel. And let's go over the next amud. What happens? Asur lahadoka biyom matava. It is prohibited, okay, all right, to force it into the hole, okay, into the spout of the barrel on Yom Tov. Okay, Baha'i afilu Rabbi Shimon modeh, and in this situation, Rabbi Shimon also seems to agree. The Abai v'Rava, the Amrei Travahu, because Abai and Rava, the two of them are saying, Modeh Rabbi Shimon, the Psik Reishe v'lo Yamut, that Rabbi Shimon holds the concept of Psik Reishe v'lo Yamut. In other words, ultimately, one act is going to lead to another, and therefore that could be a result that somebody is chayav. What would be the case? If he takes the cloth stopper out of the barrel, it's wet, and he's going to come to wring it out. As a result of wringing it out, that's an isur on Shabbos. Okay? V'ha'amar Rav Chia bar Ashi. And didn't Rabbi Chia bar Ashi, all right, Amar Rav, say in the name of Rav, halacha ka Rabbi Yehuda, that the law in that situation is not like Rabbi Shimon, but like Rabbi Yehuda. Rav Chanan bar Ami Amar Shmuel, and Rav Chanan bar Ami in the name of Shmuel says, halacha ka Rabbi Shimon, that the law there is like Rabbi Shimon. Okay. Rav Chia bar Avin, matne la below Gavre, and Rav Chia bar Avin teaches this without a reference to particular individuals. Right? Rav Amar halacha ka Rabbi Yehuda, and Rav says the law is like Rabbi Yehuda. Ushmuel Amar halacha ka Rabbi Shimon. And Shmuel says the law is like Rabbi Shimon. So what happens? We have an ongoing machloket here until we get to the following. Ella, rather, Amar Rabba, says Rabba, Ani va'ari shebechavura targamina. Okay, I and the lion in the group have explained it. Okay, so the Gemara comes in here with a quick question. Umano, who is it? In other words, who is referring to as the lion in the group? Rabbi Chia bar Avid. Halacha to Rabbi Shimon. Okay, so he says he's explained it, as does Rabbi Chia bar Avid, that the law is like, according to Rabbi Shimon, v'lav mita'ameh, but not according to his reasoning, which is a very clear and unique situation. Usually when you say the law is like so-and-so, you accept not only the law, but his interpretation of why he came to the halacha in that context, in that situation. So Rava is saying we accept his final decision, but not his total interpretation. My halacha Rabbi Shimon v'lav metame. And so the Gemara naturally asks, what does it mean when you say the law is like Rabbi Shimon, but not according to his view? What do we say? Ilema, if I'm going to say halacha Rabbi Shimon deshari v'lav metame, that the law is like Rabbi Shimon, who permits, but not according to his reason. Why? The ilu Rabbi Shimon savar. Why? Because Rabbi Shimon is of the opinion, maseh, that it heals. V'Rav savar lo maseh. Okay? And Rav holds that it doesn't heal. Okay? That's a question. The savar Rav lo maseh. And does Rav hold that it doesn't heal? V'hamidi katani b'nei melachim sachin al gabe makotehem. But since the Mishnah specifically says here, okay, that it teaches that princes anoint themselves, okay, their wounds, okay, with rose oil, miklal demase, that this infers that it does heal. And that therefore Rav holds healing is the issue. Ela halacha Rabbi Shimon deshari v'lov matame. But rather he may hold that the law is like Rabbi Shimon, okay, but not because of his reason. Why? The ilu Rabbi Shimon savar, because if Rabbi Shimon is of the opinion, af al gav de lo shachiach shari, even though it's not common, in other words, it's not the usual item that people use, it's permitted. The Rav savar ishachiach in the ilo shachiach lo, and Rav is of the opinion that if it's something that's commonly used, yes, it's permitted to be done on Shabbat, but if it's not commonly used, it's not permitted. Uba'atra de Rav shachiach mishcha de varda. And what was the situation was that in the location, in the community of Rav, it was common to use rose oil then as a usual anointment, and therefore it's not rare. And in that case, that's why in this case, Rav would indicate he supports the position of Rabbi Shimon and includes it there. And we stop Hadran alach Shmona Shratzim. Okay, we finish that parak. Okay, all right, guys, everybody good? We're going to now go to a new parak. And again, what we're seeing is each of these prakim begin to discuss different av melachot in more detail. Okay? We've seen it the medicine, we've seen with others. Okay? Now carrying. Now we're going to get to something that if you were in the Boy Scouts ever in life, knot tying. Right? Tying and untying knots. Okay? Right, is our topic. Okay? Now, what is the concept before we jump into the text that we want to define is what is a permanent knot? Okay? It's a knot designed to endure. Okay? The function of the knot, is it based on the function of the knot? Or is it based on the method that the knot is going to be tied? Okay? Okay? And therefore, if this knot is prepared on Shabbat, is it going to last through the week? All right, let's jump in, okay? In a sense that we're going to be given a couple of examples of specific kinds of knots. If you ever did any boating, I guess, or familiar with boating or other kinds of things, you perhaps will have a better appreciation for this. Okay? Ve'elu ksharim, and these are the kinds of knots, shechayavin aleihem, says the Mishnah, that one would be culpable for tying on Shabbat, for tying these kinds of knots. Kesher hagimalim, one is a knot used by camel drivers. Okay? The assumption is going to be that it's a knot that they tie to the nose ring of the camel, by which either to lead it or to direct it. Okay? V'kesher hasapanim, and the second is a sailor's knot, okay, which I assume is a knot in which they use to tie the boats up to the dock. Okay? Ukashem shahu chayav al kishurim, in the same way says the Mishnah, that one would be culpable in terms of tying the knot, kachu chayav al heteran, so he would be culpable on untying the knot. Rabbi Meir Omer, says Rabbi Meir, kol kesher shahu yachol lahatiro be'achat miyadav, any knot that he is able to untie single-handed, right, one hand, ein chayavin alav, okay, then he is not culpable for it. Now, again, that may reflect on how tight the knot is or the kind of knot. Gemara says, my kesher hagmalim, or kesher hasapanim, what is a knot that is a camel driver's knot or a sailor's knot? Ilema kitra de katres bismama. If we say it is a knot that he ties in the nose ring of the camel, of course. Ukitra de katre beistarida, or a knot that he ties in the ship's ring. In other words, the bow of the ship, okay, to attach it to the dock. Hai kesher she'eno shel kaimahu. But isn't this a knot that doesn't endure, okay, and it's non-permanent? Ela kitra de zemama gufe ude istarida gufa. But rather it's the knot specifically tied to the nose ring itself and to the bow of the ship's ring itself. That is a permanent knot. Okay. Rabbi Meir Omer kol kesher v'chule. He says again, untying by one hand. By Rav Achdaraboy Achve Demar Acha. Comes Rabbi Adbaoi, the brother of Mar Acha, and asks the question, Aniva, a bow, the Rabbi Meir Mahu. Is a bow considered a enduring knot? Ta'amei Rabbi Meir, mishum diyachol hatiro be'achat miyadavu. Okay. Rabbi Meir's view, he says, because he can untie it with one hand, right? Vaha nami yachol hatiro, and this also one should be able to untie, right? O Dilma, or perhaps Tama de Rabbi Meir, mishum delo mihadak, or perhaps the reasoning of Rabbi Meir is because it's not tight. Vaham mihadak, and what then if it's tight? Teku. We don't have an answer. New Mishnah. Matnitin, says our Mishnah. Okay. Yesh lecha ksharim she'ein chayavin aleihem kekesher hagmalim ukekesher hasapinim. You have a variety of knots in which one is not culpable, like the camel driver's knot or the sailor's knot. Okay? And now the Mishnah is going to give us examples specifically. Kosheret isha mipetach chaluka. A woman ties the opening, okay, of her robe or her dress. Okay. Vichute sivacha, or the laces, I'm going to say, of her hairnet. Okay. Vishel psikia, or some sort of a girdle. Okay. Uritzuot minal v'sandal, or the straps on a shoe or a sandal. V'nodot yayin v'shemen, or, says the example in the Mishnah, the spouts that are for wine or oil. Okay. What they used to do is they would use an animal skin. Okay. They would skin the animal and use the animal skin to hold the liquid in it, and therefore they would have to tie up one part, at least, of the animal skin to make it closed. Ukadera shel basar, okay, are also some sort of a pot container to hold meat. Okay, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer, koshrim lifnei habehema b'shvil shelo tetzeh. And Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says it's also, he says, permissible to tie a domestic animal so it doesn't wander away. Now, our Gemara. Ha gufa kasha. This Mishnah itself is problematic. Amart yesh ksharim she'ein chayavin alehen kekesher hagmalin ukekesher hasapinim. On the one hand, you say that there are knots where one is not culpable, like the knots of a camel driver or a sailor. Chiyuvahu deleka. Okay, therefore there's no culpability. Ha'isura ika, but is there any kind of prohibition? Vahadar tani, and then afterwards they come and teach. Kosheret isha mipetach chaluka, afilu lechatchila. Okay, that a woman may tie the opening of her robe or her dress even initially. Hachi ka'amar. This is what it means to tell us. Yesh ksharim she'ein chayavin aleha kekesher hagmalin ukekesher hasapinim. There are knots where one is not culpable for them, like the knots of a camel driver or the knots of a sailor. Umahinihu, and what are these knots? We'll just roll over a little bit. Okay, onto Kaf Yud Bet, right? Kitra de Katre Bismama. Okay, those are like the knots that are tied for the camel nose ring. Vikitra de Kitre Beistarida, or the knot that's tied for the ship's ring. Chiyuvahu deleka. Okay, ha isura ika. There, okay, there is no culpability, but there is a prohibition. V'yesh shemutarim lechatchila, and there are the others that are permitted initially. Umahi nihu, and what are they? Kosheret mipatchei chaluka, like tying the front of her robe. Okay, and we'll just finish up now. Mipetech chaluka, from the front of her robe or a shirt. Okay, pshita, isn't that obvious? Lo tzricha, no, we needed to say it. Deit le tre dashe, because the garment, okay, I'm going to use that phrase. It could be like a shirt or a robe or something. It has, we'll call it two laces or two straps. Mahu detema. Okay, what are you then telling us? Chadaminahu betule mevatel. Okay, that one of them could be disregarded. Okay, in other words, then you're just tying one so the item won't slip off. Ka mashmalan. Therefore, it comes to tell us that that is permitted. Okay? And we're going to stop right there, and we'll pick up tomorrow, going with regards to ribbons and hairnet. Okay, but I just want to add one comment before we break. We're going to then get into the business of sandals. Okay, and I don't know how many of us are familiar with the style or the shape of a Roman sandal. Okay, if I don't know if ArtScroll, if you're using ArtScroll, has any description or diagram. Koren does have a picture of one. Okay, and what I would simply point out is that the sandal had a base, okay, and then it had like leather flaps on the sides, and then the laces would go through the sides of the leather sides. And the Gemara is going to call those leather sides the ears of the sandal. Okay? So if we keep that image in mind, it might be helpful as we're going to continue further on in the Gemara. Okay, guys, everybody have a good day and stay healthy.
Thank you very much.
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you.
Hey, have a good day. Stay
Okay.
cool. Leave.